Okay, Linda, you just want me to go ahead and start, or?
David, we'll have several items before you.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Dwight Keene. I'm chair of the Kansas Corporation Commission. I'm joined this morning by fellow Commissioners Susan Duffy and Commissioner Andrew French. At this time, I will call to order this meeting of the Kansas Corporation Commission on this Thursday, August 25th, 2022. First matters for our consideration this morning, Commissioners, are 13 items on the consent agenda. I understand that Commissioner French is recusing on items number 1 and number 2 regarding Western Cooperative Electric Association. Is that correct? It appears to be.
That's correct. I will be recusing and not voting on those 2 items.
Very well, thank you. We have had the benefit of looking at the draft orders in each of these matters, and keeping in mind Commissioner French's recusal, I would ask the commissioners if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I'll begin with Commissioner Duffy.
Good morning, everyone. I have no questions or comments.
Thank you. Commissioner French.
No questions. I move approval of the consent agenda, noting my recusal on items 1 and 2.
I second the motion.
Very well. We have before us a motion that's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda items, noting Commissioner French's recusal on items 1 and 2. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. The consent agenda is so approved. We have one notice item this morning. It involves docket number 23-TRAM-248-PEN. This is a matter of the investigation of Jose Miguel T. Reyes, DBA JMR Transport of Garden City, Kansas, regarding the violations of the motor carrier safety statutes, rules, and regulations, and the Commission's authority to impose penalties, sanctions, and or the revocation of motor carrier authority. Before us this morning is a penalty order, and our presenter is litigation counsel Hassan Latif. Good morning, Hassan.
Good morning, Commissioners. The penalty order before you arises out of a compliance review of Jose Miguel T. Ruiz, DBA JMR Transport, common motor carrier, which hauls grain, feed, and hay operating out of Garden City, Kansas. The penalty order is based on an investigation conducted by Special Investigators Penny Fryback and Erica Pargas from August 8th to August 11th. During their investigation, the Special Investigators found several violations, and the order before you assesses penalties for 4 of those violations, resulting in $5,250 in total penalties. The violations included a $750 fine for allowing its drivers to operate a commercial motor vehicle that did not have an annual inspection in the past year, and the investigators found 2 of these violations. A $500 fine for failing to obtain commission authority prior to operating in intrastate commerce, a $1,000 fine for failure to retain supporting documents for the loads hauled. The investigators found 61 violations of this type, and a $3,000 fine for hauling loads over the allowed gross weight limit of 85,000 pounds. The investigators found 23 violations of this type. Staff believes the order appropriately assesses penalties against this carrier, and staff recommends approval of the order before you. Both I and members of staff are available to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Hassan. Very thorough and an outstanding overview. Let's see if there are any questions. I'll turn first to Commissioner Duffy.
I have no questions or comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner French?
No questions. Thank you. I move approval of the order.
I second the motion.
Been moved and seconded. We approve the order in this manner. Is there any further discussion? I'll add kind of another thank you note on behalf, I think, of the 3 of us to our field staff for the outstanding diligence with which they perform their duties. It's readily apparent from the level of detail that came to us vis-a-vis this order that they're consummate professionals, and we're fortunate that we have them in our employ. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. The order is approved. Thank you, Hassan.
Thank you.
The next matter for our consideration this morning is a discussion item. We're fortunate to have with us David Carter for a presentation to the commission. I think you're out there, are you not, David? I see.
I am indeed, yes.
Not quite your profile yet, but okay, very good. We have a presentation. David is with the Kansas State University Engineering Extension. K-State, vis-a-vis the activities of David, are kind of co-partners of ours, and we appreciate the relationship very much and look forward to your remarks this morning. David, I'll turn the floor over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. And let me just certainly emphasize your comments that this is much more than a co-partnership. You know, we use the word synergy all the time, and I got my master's degree in toxicology, and when we talk about synergy and toxicology, it's the effect of two different chemicals that each have their own effect individually, but when you put them together, the effect is so much more. And in fact, I use the analogy of 2 + 2 = 20. And that is exactly what we have here with the partnership between Kansas Corporation Commission and the Kansas Energy Program at K-State. So we appreciate everything that you do. So just a real quick agenda. We do have some new staff. We'll introduce you to them, talk about the small business program statistics, then segue briefly to the facility conservation improvement program, talk about our energy education, and then open it up for questions if anybody has any. So this is our staff. I would describe some of that as a motley crew, mainly me. And look at that, I'm wearing the same shirt that was in the picture. So this is Ryan Hamill over here on the far left, and then we have Kurt Foley, Yvonne Cook, who's one of the oldest members of the the most veteran members of the Kansas Energy Program, having been with it from the inception of it in 2016. Our newest member is Mandy Putnam, who has been just a great addition to us. And in fact, Mandy was the one who introduced the national Kid1 Challenge winner to the Kansas Kid1 Challenge. So if she hadn't been on board, they might not have been on board, and they wouldn't have gone on to win the national championship. So serendipity is great. And then there's me. So this is a map of the assistance that we have provided from 2016 to 2022. And you can see the numbers: 239 energy education. Those are the green pens, 148 small business, and then 101 Kid1 schools. And this is the new thing that I want to show that we have done. Can everybody see that? I can't hear if.
We see a map.
Okay, yep. And
Yes.
so we're going to, so this is a time-lapse video of the amount of assistance between FY16 to FY22. And this is adding sites at a 3-month interval. And you can see the legend up here, where you know, we just started off in the eastern part of the state, and then just it blows up everywhere. So this is just a really cool effect that we can do, not only collectively for all of the site visits, but we can filter down to each one and just show individually, you know, the spread of the small business, the spread of the energy education, the spread of the Kid1. So it's a pretty cool visual effect for the services that the partnership provides to the state of Kansas. See, Lynn, that wasn't too scary, was it?
Good job.
Okay, so these are the numbers that that we did. through FY19 to FY22. So what we started doing was showing you per quarter the change over each fiscal year and then collectively over all the quarters. And you can see that FY22 in almost every category except for Q3 is just far and above all the rest of the quarters. And another thing that we started doing was tracking the mileage that we completed during the activities that we do. And in fiscal year 22, we actually logged 13,377 miles. And the cool thing about that is that those are miles that the teachers and the small businesses, of course, don't have to incur. So we're doing all of this on behalf of the constituents of the program, and that's a really great thing. So we'll talk about the small business, and FY22 was a great year for us. We did 21 completed assessments in 20 cities covering 19 counties. Of those 21 assessments, 12 went on to submit a REAP grant application. And in FY22, 100% of those were approved for funding by the USDA. And that is at the 25% reimbursement. So none of them, so sometimes the USDA, they don't have quite enough money to fully do the 25%. So they might have to ratchet that down a little. And we've had some that get a little less than what they've requested, but this year everybody got the full amount. And so that resulted in another 187,000 to Kansas rural small businesses. And I do want to emphasize that the 12 REAP grant applications that we submitted is almost half of what the USDA REAP received during FY22. So they received a total of 27 applications, and our 12, well, actually we did 14, 2 are still pending. That's 48%. So that's it's just good all the way around. And just to let you know, so those are from project costs from a low of 8,630 to a high of 198,796. So the businesses received anywhere from just a little over $2,000 to almost $50,000 for implementation of either an energy efficiency or a renewable energy project. So collectively from FY16 to FY22, we've done 148 assessments in 98 cities covering 62 counties. 58 of those submitted REAP grant applications, and 94.7 of those were approved for funding from USDA for $1.2 million awarded to Kansas rural small businesses or ag producers. And if nothing else, I mean, both of us in KCC and the Kansas Energy Program should be just extremely proud of those statistics. That's phenomenal. These are the energy audits by industry. Grocery stores remain our highest category of industry, followed by food processors and then ag producers. I would imagine that this fiscal year, the ag producers might be increasing a little bit. The Inflation Reduction Act increases the federal tax credits for renewables, and we've had a lot of ag producers approach us with solar systems. So the fact that they can get that instead of 26%, it's going back up to 30%. We might see some more solar applications come in. These are the number of assessments.
I do have a question real quick.
Yes.
By food producer or processor, give me some examples of who you're talking about.
Okay, yeah. So meat processors would be one of those. We've done a lot of
so the lockers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whether they're USDA or only Kansas
Correct.
certified, doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay. It does not matter. They just have to meet the criteria of a for-profit business in a rural area.
Okay, and there's a lot of them
Yes, there are.
and they're overwhelmed and so great. I'm glad to see
Yes.
that.
And so here are the number of assessments by house district. You can see 109 and 107 have pretty large proportion of the assessments, and all the way down to a lot of districts that just have one. And so 109 and 107 are right here in the north central Kansas area. And then these are the number of assessments by Senate district, and 36 by far has the most, and that's over here again in the north central Kansas. So thanks to Ryan for doing those great visuals there. FCIP, so this is FY17 to FY22. So we didn't start the FCIP originally, although at the time Mary Galligan had asked if we wanted to do that, but Preston was doing a great job with it, and we didn't want really to get involved. And then unfortunately, you know, we did. So we've completed or provided technical assistance to 14 FCIP projects in 14 cities and 12 counties. 2 of those are approaching the end stages: City of Mission and City of Shawnee. USD 329, we Len made the decision to let them go ahead and do their energy efficiency outside of the FCIP process. And then we're still providing ongoing assistance to City of Eudora and the Northwest Kansas Educational Service Center. And I want to tell you that this is great, because this is part of the synergy that results from this program, is that the Northwest Kansas or the NKESC did the FCIP, and then when we started expanding the Kid1 Challenge and we were looking for places to do that, we approached NKESC to see if they would host the regional Kid1 Challenge, and they have done so every year since 2019. And they provide that to us free of charge. So it's an excellent symbiotic relationship there. Then to get into fun one, the energy education, we've done 239 education events for 16,000 plus students, and this is everything from going to schools to do a light box presentation on energy efficiency, or doing breakout rooms for them. The bikes are a very popular event for us. We've even had a few teachers get on those. The K through 12 energy benchmarking project, we began in FY20. And of course, you know, FY20 and FY21 did take some hits from COVID. So we probably haven't made as much headwind on this project as we could have in a non-COVID world. But we still have 19 school buildings that participated in the program, 2.5 million square feet of facilities in 12 cities and 10 counties. And we did just, Kurt Foley and I went to Nemaha Central to pick up a wind tunnel, and one of the teachers approached us and say that she wants to probably participate in that in this project this year. So we're still working on a couple of other schools that will probably participate in that. The energy library, and Ryan, I'm gonna ask for some clarification from you on this, but the 69 loans to impact about 3,700 students. I believe these are just loans for equipment that we take to the school and leave there. This does not include the equipment that we bring to the schools while we're doing a presentation. Is that correct, Ryan?
Yes, that's correct. This is
Okay.
just the equipment they use kind of on their own. Yeah.
Yes. So the equipment that we have, that you know, a great majority of which was purchased through the KCC, the schools it's impacting a lot more schools than just what we see here. It's just that when we go out and do a presentation, we track that under the energy education, not the energy library. So anyway, 32 cities and 27 counties. And just this past year, that towards the end of the fiscal year, we did pick up 3 more wind tunnels, which brings us to 9 wind tunnels that we can loan out to schools as they prepare for the Kid1 Challenge. Which brings us to Kid1 Challenge, which is, I don't know, easily one of the most fun education events that we have. Very successful over the years. So in 2016 and 2017, those are 2 years for which we had numbers, but we weren't actually running the program at that time until Ruth Douglas Miller left. She was the one who originated the Kid1 Challenge here in Kansas. But she resigned and she asked us to take over the program in 2018. And of course, we had the partnership with KCC at the time. And this is where, man, just you put KCC and our program together and boom, we just had great growth in the program. 2019 was our biggest year in many aspects, but 2022, we came back, we had the highest number of teams and the highest number of spectators, and we're only short by the number of students and the number of schools in just a few categories. So anyway, we've done a really good job putting the word out for this, and I'll tell you, Kansas has the national Kid1 attention for this program. When we put our regional challenges on the map last year in FY22, we were the only state that had 6 regional challenges leading up to a statewide challenge. And we were the only ones that had scheduled 6 wind energy teacher workshops to help the schools prepare for the wind challenge. And did that work? Well, as you'll see in the next slide, obviously did. But these are the 2023 Kid1 challenges, which we've already scheduled. We had these scheduled in May, which is the earliest we have ever scheduled our Kid1 challenges. And of course, that just gives more teachers, more students, more time to prepare for the upcoming Kid1 challenge in 2023. The only hanger on that we have right now is trying to nail down the date for the statewide Kid1 challenge. And we're working on a couple of things for that. This is the ultimate success for our FY22 National Kid1 Challenge. We had 8 teams participate in the National Kid1 Challenge this year. And 3 of the 7 teams that actually participated on site, we had 1 team that participated virtually. 3 of them were recognized at the national level, one of which, the Hutch STEM Blue, was the national champion in the elementary school division. And that is just all of these teams, these students, man, they were just flying high in San Antonio when they were awarded. So this is a really cool thing. And we hope to springboard off the success for the FY22 going into 2023. The National Kid1 Challenge in May of 2023 will be in New Orleans. So we're already looking at, okay, if we have schools that advance from our statewide, how are we going to get them there? So we don't want to recognize them at the state without giving them the ability to compete at the national level. So, and that concludes the business report for us. I won't stop sharing my screen in case somebody has any questions on it, but I'll open it up.
David, this is Dwight Kane.
Yes.
I have a very provincial question for you from South Central Kansas. For a couple of years, Oxford was quite active and involved in this Kid1 Challenge. Are they still involved?
They are not. We reached out to them. Yvonne helped me out. It was in 2020, I believe, that they, for some reason, stopped participating.
Part of it is that the kids were just old enough to like start thinking about graduating and going to college. And we haven't had any new interest in the area. I'm also not sure if the teacher is still there. The last few responses I've sent have not been returned. Which just with everything that's been going on could have been lost in the email.
Yeah. So we think one of the things that might have happened with Oxford is they had reached the pinnacle. They were the ones that nobody else could touch for a couple of national Kid1 challenges in a row. And, you know, maybe they just thought, okay, there's nowhere else to go from here.
Well, it's obviously contingent, as I think Yvonne suggested, it's obviously going to be somewhat contingent upon having teachers who have interest in promoting this, and probably the degree to which they do that is reflected in the results. We're obviously quite proud of the results here that from Dighton, Hutch, and Beloit. This is phenomenal on a national level to have 3 of our representative school systems compete so effectively. Very impressive.
Thank you.
I would ask the commissioners can jump in here anytime you wish. I would ask Lynn, are there any comments or questions that you have?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Well, I'll jump in very briefly. One, David and Lynn, and everyone that's on the call and involved in administering these programs. I mean, a deep thank you. I mean, we all see all the work and effort that goes into making these things the incredible success they are. And so, you know, want to make sure you all get that recognition. And it is great to just see the increase in intention and success that we have year over year with these. I also want to mention I, for the first time, got to go be a judge at a Kid1 Challenge at Johnson County Community College. I think it was back in February, and just extremely impressed by your work. First of all, in organizing the event, but I've got to tell you, more impressive was just seeing the teams compete, seeing them work together, seeing them. They all had to give presentations and explain how they undertook their engineering project. And it was interesting seeing them, discussing throughout the day and trying to improve their product as the testing went on. So it was a great event, great for me to see firsthand where this funding is going. And, no matter, what the interest is in the specific project, I mean, this is just a fantastic academic exercise for all of these kids, really hands-on. So just a fantastic program, and I look forward to seeing it continue and expand in the future. So thank you very much.
Yes, quite welcome.
David, I would certainly join with Commissioner French in subscribing to absolutely everything he said there. The commission is indeed proud and honored by our relationship. I do think it has that compounding effect that you referred to, and we're thrilled by that, by the leadership both that you and Lynn have shown in moving forward with this program. It's really quite impressive. Your energy, education, and the conservation efforts, they're significant, they're consequential, and we very much appreciate your report this morning.
All right. Thank you very much. Oh,
Commissioner Keen, if I could, I do have a couple of questions. On the projects where, for example, with the small business, are we measuring the savings of the energy that have occurred or that are expected to occur year over year?
okay. So yes and no. We do calculate the energy savings that are expected or could be expected. Once we submit the application on behalf of the entity, we do not, USDA does not continue to involve us. The entity does have to report to USDA what their actual savings are, but we don't see those. So we only know what we calculated as potential savings from the project.
Okay.
Yeah.
In trying to share with other small businesses the opportunity that they have to be a part of this, how do you reach out? Do you have a small 5-minute video that goes to, for example, this small grocery store or this diner, and the person is saying, this is what I went through, and to date, I can report that my bill is this versus this? I mean, how are you trying to solicit new folks to get involved, new business?
We do register for a number of conferences throughout the state. We just concluded doing the National Rural Grocery Summit, which was in Wichita, which is an excellent forum for us, of course, because grocery stores. We also have a small business newsletter that we send out, giving updates on the program. And also we will submit to like the K-State Today, which goes out to all research and extension personnel, including the National Rural Grocery Initiative, which is part of K-State. So we'll provide updates on the business statistics through some of those. And then we also reach out to economic development people in various counties. Yeah.
Good. And does the Kansas Department of Economic Development, are they helpful with their they have a huge small business program, and I've availed of their, taken advantage of their services, and they're very responsive and provide a lot of information in terms of marketing your product. Are you able to use them as well?
I don't think we have used them.
Okay.
We have provided information to Department of Commerce.
Yeah, I've attended a couple of their small business conferences where they talk about your website and how you do this, and they had other speakers there. Also, I talked with a couple of women who were working out of garages, literally, or their kitchen, or had moved from their kitchen, turned their garage into a food processing facility. So that's great. The other thing is the Department of Agriculture here has to certify and validate all the processors, food processors in the state. Probably an education program with them. They're such good guys and gals. Would be a good thing to let them know this program is here. Okay. So when they're out evaluating and rating, they can also just say, oh, and by the way, because USDA did pass some new federal regulations for food processors that did cost them a lot of money if they continued to want to be able to process meat that might be sold interstate or intrastate to non-family. And so they might be looking for something that might help them save money as well. Next thing, House District and Senate District. I think this is wonderful information. And are you able to testify before the Energy Committee or the Agriculture Committee on what you all are doing?
Sure.
Okay, I think that is something that maybe we can help with, that entree, especially into the Ag Committee.
We have made that offer to the legislative committees in the past.
And are they receptive, Lynn?
We have never had a committee take us up on it.
That's too bad, because the first few weeks they are just desperate for things to do. And so that might be something this fall to try and get on their schedule after the election and the chairmen are named, so that they feel like they've got stuff going on, and especially if there's any changes, the new chairman really want to be able to provide some education. So you guys do such a good job with your presentation. taking students in, show them what they know. I had such a great time in Topeka with the state. I will tell you, frankly, I was shocked and overwhelmed at how smart and bright and enthusiastic these kids were. I mean, things were going wrong. They were problem solving. They were listening to each other. There were a lot of girls involved, which made my heart sing. But it was like really just a reality check at how bright our future is with these kids. And actually, I just wanted to say, come see us in a few years after you graduate from college. We have a job for you because their potential is huge. And I think this program only adds to their potential. It's something a high school student can put on their resume as they go into college and apply for scholarships. This is what I did in high school. And I think this is significant. And I applaud your staff. They're so good with these kids. They're very even, very encouraging. And your organization of this event was spectacular. So thank you and your staff, and thank you also for getting good sponsors to come and be active as well. I was impressed by that. And Lynn, your leadership, of course, throughout all of this is just right there and spot on.
Absolutely.
So,
Lynn is she's our heart.
she's your glue.
Yeah,
And I know she works hard at it.
she
And
does.
this is her passion. So thank you very much, and very good information. And we hope to see you back soon.
Okay, thank you.
All right, very well. Any further questions of David or comments? David, once again, on behalf of the commission, my thanks to you and all of your staff. I'm glad all of you could join us this morning. It's our pleasure to meet them, and we hope to be able to work with them in the future as well. And I'll just say a hearty me too to Commissioner Duffy's observation and Commissioner French's as well for the leadership from both yourself and Lynn. It's made a difference, and it's made a big difference. So thank you, sir, very much.
Thank you. Have a great week.
All right, commissioners, by my reckoning, that brings us to the end of the agenda items for this morning. Unless there's anything further you would care to take up at this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Now we have it on the record, audio and visually. It's been moved second. We adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're adjourned. Thank you all. Take care.